Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is The Boys, Season 1, Episode 4, The Female of the Species. Sorry I had to delay this a day, but yeah, yesterday was really fucking crazy with traffic. I mean, really crazy, and I wasn't going to make it anywhere on time, and I was also just fried after being in that traffic yesterday. So, yeah, there we go. So, let me get some business out of the way. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, you can hit the dislike button. I just ask that you go down below in the comment section and tell me what you want, what you really, really want, and give me some constructive criticism about what's going on, what you don't like about the show. Also, if you're on the fence about joining up at the very end of the video, you can see a video pop up here. It's actually going to be selected just for you. Take a look at that. Also, you can hit the bell down below as well, and that will tell you when I'm on again live again next. It's a 50-50 chance on that one. You can go into the bell settings and get as many or as little notifications as you want. If you really want to know when I'm be on, you can go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com. Also, I mirror that on my Facebook page as well. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. So the one thing I was kind of disappointed about in this episode was, the title is called The Female of the Species, and there is a song out there from the 90s called The Female of the Species, and yet we heard nothing of that song. Yeah, that was the only disappointment I had about this entire episode. Oh my God, as I'm knocking stuff over here. Because what I'm trying to get out is, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. So there we go. Where am I at now? Dennis is all excited, knocking stuff over. No, I'm just very, very fucking clumsy right now. My brain is still a little bit on the fried side. Excuse me, from work. And yeah, that's what happens when you stare at a computer screen for fucking 3 hours straight with all kinds of people going, no, do it this way. No, do it that way. No, it doesn't work that way. Sorry. Hence the big ass drink, which is a mint julep, by the way, in case everyone's wondering. So we open up with Billy having sex with his wife. And we also get to see the dog on the floor there as well. And, she wants him to come with her to a party. And of course, he really does not want to go to the party. And she talks him into it. And then we see him waking up, and it's the same room. He's still living there. We see the dog cages there. It looks like the dog's still around. We don't know for sure, but yeah. So Billy goes about his day, taking a shower and eating a Hot Pocket, and then watching a video from 2012 of his wife in the park. And it happens to be the same park that two certain someones have been seeing each other at, which is Annie and Huey. Remember that for later, although, yeah. The dog was a nod to comic readers, exactly, Viking Bitch, but yeah, I'm kind of disappointed about them in that, but I'm not going to get into that. That's spoiler territory. So the deputy director of the CIA that Billy knows is walking into her secure office. She's using a key card to get in. Who does she find in there but Billy? And he's rifling through her files, and she immediately calls security. And he goes, no, hear me out. He goes, you don't want soups in the military, right? I can stop that. He goes, these assholes are taking a stuff called Compound V that's kind of like a steroid. A-Train was on it during the day of the race, and also he was on it when he ran through that girl. And he says, well, we just need to find out where it's coming from, and we out it to the public. They don't want it, of course. We find, that stops soups from being in the military. And she goes, great. Do you have any evidence? No, I don't. She goes, okay, well, get me the evidence, and we'll talk about it. Maybe I'll throw some money your way. And by the way, have you seen Translucent at all? And he goes, no. He goes, no one's seen that cunt. He's invisible after all. He could be in the corner or tossing one off for all we know. And yeah, she goes, okay, well, you know what? If you fuck me on this one, you're going to be drinking your own urine in a black site that no one is going to know about at this point. Hey, Joe. So as he leaves, Billy, of course, calls Pop Claw and goes, you know what? He goes, you're not living up to your end of the bargain. And we're going to release a video on the Pornhub, of you and your formerly deceased, your recently deceased manager, your apartment manager. And she's like, I told you everything I know. A-Train always, when he gets the compound V, brings back noodles from this one shop, this one Chinese noodle place. So, of course, the boys are staking this place out. When they see a guy from the noodle shop come out, and he's packing, he's got a gun, and he picks up a drop package, and they start following him. So Frenchie and Mother's Milk and Huey end up going in, and Huey's like, really, we got to go in there and follow him? And of course, Frenchie keeps calling Huey Petite Huey. And Huey's like, why the hell do you keep calling me that? I'm over 6 feet tall. Which I don't know if he is, and I can't remember. He was standing up next to me, and yeah, I guess he's about 6 feet tall. Yes, wee Huey. Which makes sense with Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg is a bit smaller, so yeah. Who the character was based on to begin with. In the comics, I should say. So they end up going down into this underground lair, I guess you could say, where they find two more guns, and these guys are slurping up noodles, and they're looking around. The boys start looking around. They're looking around for Compound V. And Frenchie notices, he hears this J-pop stuff going on. He sees a video playing, and he looks underneath the table in this cell and sees a really dirty girl just sitting down there. And he's fascinated by her. And Mother's Milk is saying, dude, come on. We need to find the Compound V and get the fuck out. And Frenchie's like, no, wait a minute. What's going on here? And he goes, leave her, man, leave her. And Frenchie's like, no, we need to let her out. And Mother's Milk is like, that's not a good idea. And of course, what does Frenchie do? He opens up the gate. And just as soon as he opens up the cell, the gate to the cell, the guards come rushing in with some machine guns and are screaming in whatever language. I don't know what language they were doing it. And shouting, don't release her, don't release her. And she comes flying out and immediately starts killing the guys with the guns. And I mean, she is just ripping them to shreds, pretty much literally. So the one guy they were following actually pops out, sees what she's doing to those guys. He puts the gun to his throat and blows his own head off. She then turns on them, on Huey, Mother's Milk, and Frenchie, and they go back into the cell and shut the door, and she can't get to them. And then she takes off. So yeah, that's some pretty bad shit at that point. In the meantime, the Deep is sitting in therapy talking about how he thinks he's just a joke and that he's supposed to be the diversity hire because he can talk to fish and that's about it. And the therapist, basically is, well, what about all those people on the ocean liner? You saved them. Where would they be without you? And he's like, that's right. I need to self-actualize. And so, yeah, he is he's having his own issue, shall we say. So Billy comes to the rescue, comes down to see the carnage that has ensued. And Mother's Milk finds a package. Well, he finds a syringe of that Compound V that they've been shooting into the girl. They're wondering what the hell they've been doing, why they've been shooting her up with this stuff. And Mother's Milk finds the package that this stuff has been coming in and thinks he can track it back. He knows somebody that can probably track it back. And in the meantime, of course, Frenchie is noticing some nail polish and a bottle of nail polish, and it's kind of a weird color, and he's just kind of wondering what the hell that is. And Huey, in the meantime, is getting texts. He's getting texts from a girl named Annie. And Butcher asked me, is that Starlight? And he's like, yeah, she gave me her number, maybe asking her out for a date, that kind of thing. He goes, yeah, you're asking her out for a date, and you're going to clone her phone. So what we're going to do is we can listen in on it. And Huey keeps trying to tell Butcher, he's like, no, she's a nice person. She's a really nice. And he goes, I don't give a fuck. He goes, you're going to clone her phone so we can listen in. Anyone buy the new Deep calendar? Yeah. No, probably not. So Stillwell, in the meantime, is with her PR guys, and they're trying to spin Translucent's death. And they're like, well, why don't we just say that he's off on a mission? He's fighting MS-13. She goes, I like that. MS-13. That sounds good. In the meantime, she gets a phone call about a mid-Atlantic plane hijacking. And she calls in Homelander and Maeve and says, these guys are over the mid-Atlantic, international waters. we can go and take care of this. So she sends in Maeve and Homelander to do this. And she goes, and if you just, if you get this right, this will turn senators towards our side and we'll get soups in the military. In the meantime, Frenchie meets with his girl Friday, and she gives him this knockout gas canister, and she's very familiar with Frenchie, and basically tells him not to fuck things up and grabs him by the balls, and says, you better come back, kind of thing. A-Train, in the meantime, shows up at the drop-off site at the noodle place and sees all these police there, and they're pulling out bodies. He's like, oh, shit, and he takes off. So the Deep pushes his way into Stillwell's office. She's like, now's not a good time. He's like, no, I got a mission I want to run past you. And he says, it has to do with Ocean World, and they're starving and abusing dolphins there. And he goes, I think it's a really bad thing. I mean, the dolphins keep complaining about it to me all the time. And then she goes, you're the centerpiece of Ocean World's package of their advertising. He goes, yeah, we could just dump all that, right? She goes, no, we can't. And she goes, you know what? Why don't you just play to your strengths? And she closes the door on him. So A-Train shows up at Pop Claus and he asks her who she told about Compound V, because he didn't tell anybody else except for her. She's the only one who knew about where he was going. And she's like, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody at all. And then he tries playing her a bit and says, I was the one that helped you through when you were detoxing. I was the one when you were throwing up. I was holding back your hair and cleaning you up and everything. So you know what? I've got you. I got your back. I love you, kind of thing. And so who'd you tell? And again, she says, I didn't tell anybody. Hey, Sasha. So we see the female. She enters a nail salon and walks purposely straight towards the back. And it looks like the owner. And she walks into the room with the owners and who's counting money. And the owner looks like she recognizes her. And the female just kills her right then and there. Yeah. So in the meantime, Huey's gone on a bowling date with Annie, and she's horrible at bowling. I mean, she said, oh yeah. He goes, I thought you said you were really good at bowling. She goes, yeah, I am usually. And he goes, well, you're sucking right now because you keep hitting gutter balls, kind of thing. And she goes, well, how about you? You're not doing too bad. He goes, yeah, but I've bowled here all my life. He goes, I had my first kiss here in the bathroom with so-and-so. She goes, yeah, I'm sure that's what she really envisioned when she got her first kiss. And he goes, well, what about you? And she goes, oh, I was 18 at prom. And he goes, wait a minute. You were 18 at prom? She goes, well, I had a really Jesus-centric upbringing, is what she says, as she puts it. And, he hears, a strike that happens in the background, and all of a sudden it flashes back on him blowing up Translucent. So he's got a little bit of PTSD going on too. And he goes, so tell me about Translucent. She goes, that's kind of a weird segue. Because yeah, it just popped into my mind all of a sudden. He goes, you said they were all kind of dicks, but what about Translucent? He was one of my childhood idols when I was growing up, kind of thing. And he says, he's not a dick, is he? And she goes, well, he's kind of creepy. He, tends to hang out by himself. So he's kind of a loner. I guess it's because he's always hanging out with his kid. And Huey's like, he has a son? She goes, yeah, Maverick or Hunter or something like that. And you see Huey's face just kind of drop all of a sudden. And it's just like, oh my God, man, that's just horrible. It's just rubbing it in at this point. So... Oh, and by the way, I forgot. A-Train also told Popclaw to pack a bag that he's going to take her before Homelander finds out anything about what happened there. So we see the hijacked plane's doors open up, and in comes Queen Maeve and Homelander, and they kill all the hijackers in the cabin. Everyone cheers, and they go, yeah, Homelander's playing up. He goes, no, we're not. It's not us. It's not us. It's all you. It's all you, and all that kind of stuff. And Maeve goes up to the cockpit and she knocks on the door and she tells the pilot it's okay, you can open the door now. And when they open up the door, there's one last hijacker and he's got a gun to the pilot's head. And the guy is not going to relinquish control. And what does Homelander do? But he fries him with his lasers and also takes out the plane's controls at the same time. And Queen Maeve is like, can you fly the plane? He goes, not like this. And she goes, well, how about you get underneath the plane and try and lift it? He goes, what am I supposed to stand on? Air? He goes, doesn't work that way. And she goes, well, why don't you try ramming it? He goes, yeah, I'm going to fly right through the damn thing. He goes, we're done here. We need to leave. And as he's leaving, he's trying to tell the folks, everything's okay. You guys are saved now. And he's walking through, and everyone starts getting more and more increasingly worried because the plane is jolting, the mass drop. And Maeve is trying to talk him into saving at least two people, a woman and her daughter. And at one point she even tries saying, why don't you try and take him one by one? He goes, make 163 trips? He goes, I don't think so. Doesn't work that way. And he said, and finally he tells her, he goes, you can either stay here with them or you can come with me, is what he tells Maeve. And the people are pleading with them at this point. And Homelander's eyes flash, and he goes, I will laser every fucking one of you. Get the fuck back, is what he says. And then he tells Maeve, either you stay here with them and die, or you come with me and you live. Because if he takes any of them with them, they're going to tell everybody else that they left them to die. So yeah, he ends up taking her and flying out the door, and we see them, all these people at the door of the plane screaming for them, begging for them. And since I have a big screen TV that I'm watching this on, the CGI people even had someone jump out of the plane. I didn't recognize that at first, and I was like, holy fuck, that's actually very, very disturbing that they did that. Yeah, I didn't realize until I'm looking at it and I see this little body come flying off of there. I'm like, oh shit. So it's even more unsettling than what you thought it was. I didn't see that the first time around when I watched it. And yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah. So we have the boys following the female's trail to the nail salon, and Frenchie finds that the nail polish that that was inside her cell was the only one that's missing out of the entire rack of nail polish that's up there. So that was the one she took from that nail salon. She was there before. A-Train comes in, and Mother's Milk is freaking out, thinking that, he goes, A-Train, I just bumped into him yesterday. He's going to recognize me. And Butcher is saying, he doesn't recognize shit. He doesn't know who you are. Don't worry about it. He didn't recognize you. And Frenchie tells them, you know what? She's retracing her steps. She's going home is what she's doing. This is where she was before. She's going to the train station. That's next. That's where we have to go to. In the meantime, we see a commercial for the Believe Expo from Ezekiel, and Starlight's going to be in it. And she's like, yeah, I'm doing this. She's telling Huey, she goes, but I'm donating all my proceeds to charity. And he goes, no, you got to be the nicest fucking person ever. He goes, fuck all those other people. You're the nicest person. And, Huey feels bad about what he's got to do, of course, about, bugging her phone. And she goes, what's going on? What's wrong with you? You look a little weird. And he goes, yeah, I'll tell you what's going on. He goes, I'll tell you the truth. I'm really suspicious about you. You tell me you're this great bowler, yet you've been bowling a really shitty game. He goes, I think you're just trying to make me feel good. He goes, you have all these powers, and you're supposed to be a really good bowler. So what's going on? And he goes, so stop stroking my ego and actually bowl. And we see her just bowl a perfect strike. And he's like, holy shit. He goes, all right, there we go. So we find out from Mother's Milk where the shipments are coming from. And they're coming from Samaritan's Embrace, which is Ezekiel's charity. And that's where the Compound V shipments are coming from. That's where he finds out from his lead. And the boys are at they're searching for the female at the train station. And they're looking around, of course. And we also see reports of the plane has gone down and out of gone off the radar as well. That's what we see on the TV inside the train station. So Frenchie hears the J-pop video that was coming from the cell, and he hears it inside this little shop, and he goes in there and he walks all the way back, and underneath the table is the female, and she's watching the video. And he puts down the smoke bomb or the knockout grenade and says, no, don't worry about it. I'm not going to do this. He goes, I just want to talk. He's trying to bond with her, and he tells her about his father. He goes, I've never told anyone about this. He goes, my father took me when I was young. He took me from my mother, and we kept moving all over the place. And he kept abusing him. He goes, yes, every night he took me out for a walk. He would smoke, tell me that he loved me, and then he would do this. And he pulls up his pant leg, and we see all these cigarette burns on his leg. And he says, I tried to escape for many years. I tried always trying to get back home, getting back to Mama, is what he says, but he'd always find me, and I could never get back. And he goes, so I know what it's like. He goes, just please let me help you, is what he says to her. He goes, I know, you're not a bad person. You're just scared and you want to go home. And just as it looks like he's breaking through to her, the channel changes. She freaks out, pops up the table and runs, and he loses her. And he runs into Mother's Milk and Butcher out in the hallway there, and they're pissed at him for. He goes, "Did you lose? Did you use the knockout gas?" He goes, "No, I thought I could." And yeah, they're pissed at him, of course. So Annie is telling Huey a story about a boy that she was going out with and who got his ass kicked. And so she kicked the guy's ass who kicked her boyfriend's ass. And the boy stopped seeing her because he was strong. She was stronger than him. And she goes, that's when I learned not to show that I was stronger than the boys that I was dating, because it just made them feel uncomfortable. And he tells her, he goes, don't worry about that with me. He goes, I don't, I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me. And he looks up and sees Robin, his dead girlfriend, across the room, and it kind of freaks him out a little bit. And she's like, okay, I got to go to the bathroom, is what Starlight says. Watch my seat. And as she leaves, Huey ends up cloning her phone and bugging her phone at that point. It kind of snaps him out of it. So Mother's Milk is really pretty much up Frenchie's ass. And he goes, you let her go, didn't you? You fucked up again, didn't you? He goes, kind of like what happened with excuse me, with Mallory's grandkids. You were supposed to be watching Mallory's grandkids that night. What the fuck happened, Frenchie? What happened? And they almost get into a fight, and Butcher breaks it up, and he goes, what the hell are you two doing? We're on a mission. We're trying to do something. Get it together. And MM just basically says, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out of here. And that's when Frenchie's going to leave too. When Butcher breaks out, he goes, hey, tell me, what are the Spice Girls up to right now? He goes, what? The Spice Girls. Tell me what they're up to. Fuck if I know. And so Butcher ends up breaking down exactly what each Spice Girl is doing, which is pretty much shit. And as he says, apart, they're shit. They're nothing. He goes, together, they're the fucking Spice Girls. He goes, we apart are nothing. Together, we get shit done. He goes, so let's get the shit done. Find the dirty little bitch, as he puts it, and get the hell out of here. His words, not mine, by the way. So, yeah. And I love how MM and Frenchie both agree. He gives the worst pep talks. It's like, yeah, he really does. He really does give the worst pep talks ever. Hey, Jasper, you made it. All right. So we launch into Tell Me What You Want, What You Really, Really Want by the Spice Girls. And what do we have going on? But the Deep has broken a dolphin out of Ocean World, has it in a van. He is going on the run. He's taking him to the Atlantic Ocean. And the dolphin is talking to him, and he's like, yeah, he goes, I really like you too. He goes, I don't think we have time for that. He goes, okay, I'll touch it in just a minute, okay? We're a little bit preoccupied now with what we're doing. And the cops start chasing them and cut him off, and he has to slam on the brakes. And when he slams on the brakes, the dolphin, who is in a sling in the back of the van, comes flying out of the sling and in slow motion flies right past the Deep, through the front windshield, lands on the road, and seems to be okay until a big 18-wheeler comes by and runs it over and smashes it to bits, killing it. Yeah. Poor Deep. Yeah. So the boys end up spying the female on the train tracks there, basically on the platform, and she jumps onto the train tracks. And just as she jumps onto the train tracks, the A train comes running through and grabs her and picks her up and starts running her down the tracks before anybody can see. And he takes her down to the tunnels and just starts beating the shit out of her in super speed. And when the boys run down there and they see what's going on, because he just kind of runs just past the platform and he is super speeding her head into the wall. He's basically grabbing it and just like ramming it into the wall. And Butcher goes, she's fucked. There's nothing we can do for her. And Frenchie goes, wait a minute. He goes, no, she's not. And he goes, and he starts screaming out, A-Train, hey, it's A-Train. And all the people on the platform come running over and like, hey, it's A-Train, come take a picture with us, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, hi. And he comes on out and starts taking pictures with people. And she's taken off by this point. She runs. Yeah, I'm kind of amazed that she lived through that beating too, because I mean, that was some pretty violent shit right there. So they follow her down the tunnel. And Frenchie, they have her trapped down at the end of a tunnel, and Frenchie wants to talk with her. And Butcher's like, no, man, no, we just need to use the knockout gas and do this. He goes, no, let me try. She's one of the Spice Girls. She goes, all right, go for it. So Frenchie walks up and he's trying to talk to her, and he's like, I'm here to help you. Everything's good. And she jumps on him. And what does Butcher do? He pops the cap on that knockout gas and just throws a talon at both of them and knocks them both out. He goes, she's definitely not one of the fucking Spice Girls, is what he says. Yeah. So Maeve and Homelander, by the way, are on the shore, and we see the wreckage of the plane washing up on the shore. And the press is there talking about how the wreckage is starting to wash up. And Homelander says, you know, they didn't have to die. And the press turns their cameras towards him. They're like, what? And they're like, they didn't have to die. He goes, we got here 3 minutes after the plane went down. He goes, but if we had been in NORAD's chain of command, we would have gotten that word. We wouldn't have to scramble the jets. We would have gotten here. We could have saved all of them, saved all their lives. And he goes, and if you have soups in the military, this is what would happen. So he starts basically egging the people, you know, getting them all kind of riled up and saying, you know, talk to your congressman, get soups in the military, tell them you want soups in the military. And all the people in the beach that are doing cleanup are actually cheering him on. And Maeve, in the meantime, is just looking. She saw the little girl's doll, the little girl that she was trying to save, the burned up doll sitting there on the shore. And she's just kind of watching as this is all happening, and is pretty much staring off into space as he passes by her. And that's where we leave off on the episode. And I was like, shit, man, that's actually pretty brutal. Yeah. Should I change it now to fucking Homelander instead of fucking Quail? Sure. Yeah, I would say fucking Homelander at this point. Because, yeah, he's an asshole. And, man, I got to tell you, I love Anthony. He's a great actor, the guy who's playing Homelander. Like I said, I saw him in Banshee. I saw one side of him, and this is a different side of him that is, at one, both creepy and just spot on as well. It's really kind of weird. I don't know how to describe the character, quite honestly. It's Superman, but very, very fucking creepy Superman. And yeah, I'm digging what he's doing with it. Oh, yeah. So hello, everybody in the chat. How's everybody doing? I'm doing actually fairly well now. This is my second mint julep of the evening, by the way. But yeah. Let's see what we've got going on here. Tamarok's Homelander is just so sloppy. He's got a dozen ways to kill someone, but he just reverts to the laser eyes because he's a lazy son of a bitch. Exactly, Tamarok's. That's exactly it. He always reverts to the fucking laser eyes. He really does. I like Huey and Starlight together, is what Viking Bitch says. Yeah, you're shipping them? Yeah. Starry? Hughlight? I don't know what to call them at this point. Poor fake Aquaman. Tamarok says the airplane scene shocked the hell out of me. Shocked the heck out of me, excuse me. Was not expecting that. Yeah, it's in the comic. Tamarok's, they actually did a shot for shot almost recreation of that. I was kind of surprised they were going to do that too. And I was actually kind of impressed that they pulled that one off, because it's one of those ones you just kind of look at it and you're like, fuck. because when this was written, it was shortly, what is it, 2005, 2000, or no, 2008. So yeah, it's a couple years removed from 9/11, and all that stuff that was happening during 9/11. Of course, we know about Flight 93 and all that, and that's kind of what they pulled from for that. And I was like, oh man, yeah. Sasha Gardner, the dolphin scene disturbed me a lot more than the airplane scene. Really? Apple Crow says, nah, I've had nightmares about things like that airplane scene. The dolphin was gallows humor, but the plane was tragic. Yeah, I agree with you. So let's see what else here. Yeah, I agree with you, Viking Bitch. The airplane did show how much of a sociopath Homelander is. And the thing is, he's getting progressively worse as we're going through this. You're seeing him lose a lot more empathy and a lot more patience for people, for humans, I should say, for regular humans. Sasha, oh, wait, I was thinking of the other plane scene. This one was kind of dark. Yeah, this one was very dark. Yes, the Tick and the boys are on opposite sides of the playing field, shall we say. Let's see what else we've got going on. I liked Erin Morty from Jessica Jones season 1, so I was happy to see her as Starlight. Oh, that's right. She was in that. I forgot that she was in season 1. I feel like they made Homelander somewhat understandable, even though he was an SOB, just like Kilgrave from Jessica Jones. Again, yes, Tamrox, I agree with you. As long as you have a good villain and a well-written villain and a good actor that can actually play that villain, that's what makes your show good and elevates it above other things. So let's see. I'm not going to go into some of the spoiler stuff that you guys are talking about in the chat. I think I've said this before. I think The Boy is by far the best adaptation of something that changes quite a lot without losing anything. It's close, Apple Crow. I would say it's close. Yeah. I still like 300. 300 was actually a pretty good adaptation of a comic. But then again, he had everything storyboarded out for him. So, I mean, that wasn't anything. Tamarox, as someone who has never read the source material, I enjoyed the heck out of the show. One of my favorites was no filler, and there was no filler and just flowed. Yeah, Tamarox. So, Tamarox, the comic is actually a lot more graphic, and how shall I say this? There's a little bit more misogyny to it. Actually, a lot more misogyny to it, and a bit more violent as well. They kind of toned down some stuff for the episodes. I was surprised. But not surprised at the same time. So, Sasha Gardner, if you had laser eyes, wouldn't you be lasering everything? I don't know. Depends. If you can cook with it, sure. Apple Crow, have we seen the Brooklyn Bridge in the show? I don't think we have, Apple Crow. Let's see what else. Yes, you are a spiced girl, Viking bitch. You are scary baby spice. Funny Joe. Frenchie's van is versus Murder Boat. I don't know about that. Yeah, I give it to Danger Boat a lot more than I would Frenchie's van. Danger Boat is so 2077. Anthony Greenslade, I binge watched the whole series the other day, and Homelander is definitely, yeah. He reminds me of Captain America meets Dark Superman. That's what actually it's supposed to be, Anthony. Yeah. Those who are complaining on Twitter that this show needs to be more like the comics have some serious issues. Yeah. The comics were good for their time, and this is something a little bit, toned down version of it. I don't need to see the comic shot for shot, quite honestly. I like what they did. Apple Crow, did 300 the movie change much from the comic? It added a lot more to it, Apple Crow. It kind of fleshed some stuff out, and but it used a lot of the visuals from it and the story as well. So a lot of people don't get the story of 300. It's a tale of a soldier telling other soldiers around a campfire a tall tale, and basically making their enemy in basically dehumanizing the enemy is what this is. That's what 300 is all about. You can tell that from the comic straight away that that's what this is all about. They actually, I believe, have it from the beginning and the end. The beginning of the comic and the end of the comic are bookend around a campfire, and that's what that is. It's very exaggerated, and I don't think that's the only thing the movie didn't convey well. Was that is a tale told by a soldier to other soldiers on the eve of a battle to pump them up, to dehumanize their enemy so they can go in and slaughter that said enemy. That's really what it is. But it's also pretty damn good too. I mean, Viking Bitch says the violence works for the comic because it is one panel at a time. I don't want to see that shit live action. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you got people getting cut in half. You know, the most graphic one, which we already saw in the first episode, which was Robin getting pretty much blown apart there by someone running through her. So Dennis, they want Captain Atom. I don't know about that. Hyperion, Homelander, and Plutonian walk into a bar. The end. Yeah. Garth Ennis has some very curious philosophies. Garth Ennis is a very dark well, from what I understand, he's a very nice person in person. A little bit gruff sometimes, but you know. But yes, everything he writes about. I mean, he did the Punisher for a number of years. Some of the best Punisher work, as a matter of fact. Some of the best Punisher stories, if you will. Plus, he's done stuff like Preacher, this one, The Boys, you know, things of that nature. So you can see where the darkness comes from. That was done very coolly, though. If you have to see someone blasted into bits, yeah, I agree with you, Sasha. I mean, at least they did the aftermath in slow motion. They didn't go through the whole process of watching him run through her and her being obliterated. You saw the aftermath of it in slow motion. Yeah. If we are the Spice Girls, who in the chat? Okay. He is most likely getting his darkness out in his art. Then he can be a nice person in life. Yeah, I didn't say he's a completely nice person. I mean, I've heard he can be a little gruff, but then again, what celebrity isn't? Unless you're Keanu Reeves, and then that's you're not at all. Who I heard is the most nicest person in the world. So, agreed, Viking Bitch. They say expressing your dark side is good for your mental health. Yeah. I'm starting season 4 of Preacher. When we're done here, I'm really torn on Tulip. I can't stand her, but I think she's perfectly cast, just not as well written as Cassidy and Jesse. Well, yeah, it's written by Garth Ennis, Apple Crow. He's not very big on his female characters, especially in The Boys. So that scene with the Deep that you saw in the very first episode of The Boys, of her initiation, if you will, there were 5 more people involved in that one, including Queen Maeve. That's all I'm going to say. In the comic. So, yeah. Which is why I like to listen to Swedish black metal. Tamarox, just to say I'm really enjoying these episode reviews. Glad to be able to talk about the episode. Thank you, Tamarox. That's why I broke it out episode by episode. I didn't want to do just one season, one and done. You need to actually break it down. You can't just talk about this thing, in a one and done kind of thing. There's just no way. There really is no way. So, so if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you're still on the fence, you're going to see at the very end, there's going to be a video right up here that is going to pick a video from my vast video library just for you based on the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching. And it'll pop it up there for you. Up here will be Krypton. Yes. The now canceled Krypton, which I'll be talking about tomorrow. I'm not done yet, Sasha. I'm just seeing a lull in the chat. So, I go by what you guys are talking about. And if you guys are kind of lulling out a little bit, then I kind of fill in that dead air because I can't just sit here and talk amongst myself. I can, but it becomes kind of creepy after a little while. So, Apple Crow says season 2 of The Boys is too far off. That's not just a wish. When we get to the conclusion, I have words. Yes, I know, Apple Crow. We all have words. Yeah. Next time I'm talking to someone I don't like, I'm just going to say, so if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, you should do that, Sasha. But I'm going to use my words. Use your words, man. Yes, exactly what Pen Farm Girl just said. Check out the schedule on my website, suspenderfanimation.com. That's where you can see everything out. And also you can hit the bell right down below there and get maybe a 50-50 chance of being notified by YouTube when I'm on live again next. There we go. And also my Twitter and my Facebook page. Thank you, Pen Farm Girl. Still sad that Legion has ended. R.I.P. David. Well, he's not dead, Tamarox. He's just starting all over again. And so is Sid for her third life. Everyone likes. I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. Apple Crow, you just send people to the website for the drawing of you flipping us off right now. Well, see, Apple Crow, you gave away that nice little surprise they get when they come in. That's one of my better stencils that I've done, I have to admit. I do like that stencil. Maybe at some point in time, if I'm bigger or something like that, I'll stencil across San Diego and maybe get arrested for it. Who knows? Tamarack says, yep, I'm now a Noah Hawley fanboy. We'll watch anything with his name on it now. I agree with you, Tamarocks. Me too. I am really looking forward to Cat's Cradle. Now that I read what the synopsis is for Cat's Cradle about Kurt Vonnegut's book, and that he's adapting that into a series for FX, I'm like, oh, holy shit. This is going to be absolutely nutty. Yeah. And nutty in a good way, is what I say. I really want to see that image of Dennis on the spoiler paddle. You want me to do the stencil of me flipping people off on the spoiler paddle, Viking bitch? I think I can make that happen. I think I can make that happen. What will be your Deniski phase as an artist? I don't know. He's working on Fargo 4 right now, Jasper Seho. He said that he starts filming in October, I think is what he said. So yeah. Will you do the show in jail still? Probably not, Joe. Yeah. Sorry, I meant Peace Amongst Worlds. Still happy Legion wasn't canceled after season 1. Yeah, me too, Pen. But then again, Fox knew what they had with Noah. They were really trying to keep him happy. So I really think the Disney Fox merger kind of hastened him having to end that whole thing because of what Disney was going to do with the X-Men, the mutants and things like that. So that's the reason why he had to end it so quickly. I mean, we always knew it was going to end. And I think it probably would have ended by season 4 if he didn't get rushed. And as he said in some interview that he was actually kind of surprised by the ending itself, the way it came about, He said the writing basically took it to where it came out to. So not exactly where he thought it was going to end, but it did end kind of where he wanted it to. And I'm happy with that too. I mean, I like the ending. It worked well for me. So I'd pay $1. I'd buy that for $1. Yeah, RoboCop, man. I've got some news about RoboCop as well. So speaking of which, it's a great segue. Tomorrow is Saturday morning blast off, kids. 10:30 in the morning, Saturday morning blast off, where I talk about the genre news of the week and all the other stuff that you guys want to talk about genre wise. Oh no, I'm not going to talk about it now. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow about RoboCop. Sunday, of course, is Preacher. Monday, I'm going to be drawing the names for those Legion buttons, kids. Yes, I'll be drawing the winners for the Legion buttons. And also tomorrow, I'm going to be sending out the winner of the Swamp Thing poster, which was Rough Girl. Got that. And also the winner of the Comic-Con bag, which turned out to be Joe. Because Joe, I had to go and do another drawing. I was not going to do another podcast for that one. And Joe ended up being the winner on that one. So that goes out tomorrow to those two people. No, Dennis, you have to do a different dollar tier. They have whole channels with cartoons 24/7. They do have. Apple Row cartoons are now 24/7. Kids today don't have to wait all week to see 2 hours of cartoons. Or, wait until, Monday through Friday, it was all afternoon, usually from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. You had 2 hours of cartoons. Yeah. I still remember coming home after school and running in and popping on the TV to go and watch cartoons. Yeah. Not where you grew up? Really, Sasha? They didn't have it here in San Diego? Oh, you didn't grow up in San Diego. That's right. So. Oh, wait, you did, didn't you? You must have had cable, rich boy. No, we had really good and plentiful over-the-air stations. We had what was called the Sutro Tower in San Francisco. It's this really famous aerial tower that broadcast over the entire freaking Bay Area. And so we got all the local channels. Yeah, all you needed was some rabbit ears, and you could tune in that shit pretty easily. You grew up in New Hampshire, New York. That's what it was. Cartoons on a school night. Yeah, we had cartoons from 3 p.m. to 5. So I've said this before, but in San Francisco, we used to have this thing. The guy who did Creature Features, and I'm talking about the original Creature Features, not all the bullshit ones that came about afterwards. But and now I'm blanking on his name. I can see his face, but Stanley is his name. And he dressed up in this red jumpsuit with a helmet and called himself Captain Cosmic during weekdays. And he showed all us kids in the San Francisco Bay Area Flash Gordon serials, all the Japanese serials. So like Ultraman, the three giant robots that were, some kid used to have it as beck and call, all that kind of stuff. Godzilla movies, all that stuff. So we got to see all of that stuff on top of some quality cartoons as well. Yeah. Dennis, are you Legion? I am Legion. Yes, Mr. Roboto. I've always been. It's always blue because it's always been blue. Jasper Seho, I'm a San Francisco native. What year are you talking about? I'm talking about the 70s, Jasper. 70s and 80s. The 80s, it turned over to Barney. It was on KTVU Channel 2 is what we had. And it probably petered out by about 88 is what I'm thinking, around 87. No shit, I'm old, Sasha. Just be glad that I can remember some of the shit still. Yeah, I'm 33. Yeah, I know, Jasper. I know. Humberdoo. Let's see what else we got. Crazy Californians and your after school cartoons. Yeah, I know. I know. I didn't mention your name, your age, Sasha. You know, because I'm a gentleman that way. I never mention a woman's age. California Music Channel. Yes, I know about the California Music Channel. I've heard of that one too, Jasper. Yes. You have to do a different Patreon tier, Dennis. 666 for your Lord Satan. For your Lord Satan. Have you accepted Satan as your Lord and Master? I'm from Texas and we had afternoon cartoons, but I lived in an honest to goodness city. Did it have running toilets, like indoor toilets too, Apple Crow? I'm kidding. But really, did it? Dennis, do you believe in the power of Humperdoo? No. But I will buy his pamphlet and see him dance, if that's the case. Even for the horses? Wow, they had indoor toilets for the horses? That's amazing. There's too many jokes I could say about that. I'm not going to. Not mentioning my age online doesn't make you a gentleman when you've called me the worn out model. Did I call you the worn out model? I did not call you that. I would have remembered that one because that's a good one. If I had said the worn out model, that would have stuck in my memory because that's actually a pretty good insult. I don't remember using that one at all. I have to remember that one later on now for somebody else. Yes, in 2013. That sounds like one of my better ones that I must have just forgotten about. Damn. You were comparing me to college co-eds on campus. Oh, wow. That must have just been a throwaway line then. That I forgot about because that's actually a good one. I have to admit. That's my younger self. That's past me. Past me was Whittier. That must have been something. You must have said something to me at that point in time that just made me come up with that on the fly, right? Yeah, that must have been the reason why. I'm sure that's what it was. Because I don't snap off like that to people normally. Yes, see, there we go. It was a defensive comeback. I knew that it was something from that. It had to have been because I don't offer those up readily to people unless something came at me that way. This interview is over. No more questions. That's right. Exactly, vacuum bitch. I will cut a bitch. I will cut you. Actually, I used that recently at work. I forget what it was for, but Sasha knows who I'm talking about, Rich. For some reason, I forget what it was. Rich said something to me, and I'm like, I will cut you. And he just started laughing. So I'm glad my coworkers actually, appreciate that kind of humor and won't report me because of it. Because, yes, that could be, grounds for dismissal. Thank God. Sasha really remembers everything you've ever said. Then sounds like a sign of something. Yeah, it just means that I've said some really bad shit at some point in time. Yeah, Joe, I'm not free on Fridays. What am I doing right now? This is a Friday. What am I doing? I'm here with you guys. That's right. I may end up doing this again on next Friday. So, because I have a work thing that's going on next Thursday. So I think this is going to be a Friday thing. Hurt people hurt. Dennis loves us. I'm not making excuses, Joe. You're making excuses. Off Fridays are rare for me. Oh, I'm sorry, Apple Crow. It's only going to be for 2 more Fridays, because next Friday, it's a work thing that happens on Thursday. That's the reason why I'm moving it to Friday. And the Friday after that, I've got a homeowners association meeting I have to go to. So, yeah. Are you a fan of the Fuller House? No, I'm not, Mr. Roboto. Sorry. I'm really not. I wasn't a fan of the original Full House either. I just wasn't into that whole thing. Sasha, I just stand him up every once in a while. Every once in a while, like every she stands me up about 1 in 5. No, excuse me, 3 and 4. There we go. 3 and 4. There we go. Make sure you bring all your questions for Dennis and Saturday morning blast off. Exactly. We forgive you, Sasha, but with Dennis, I don't remember anything. So that's the reason why. That's what the mint juleps are for. This washes out any kind of really bad memories I have. So, or at least buries them deep enough where I don't remember them until something triggers them. Did that sound wrong? Bad? I was trying to say bad, but then wrong, and then it just came out really kind of messed up at that point. So, and Pepper scratching at the door. You know what that means? That means I'm drinking an Irish mule without the ginger beer and lime juice. So it's not really an Irish mule then, Apple Crow. That means you're just drinking whiskey, right? I just have to get her from scratching the door. I think Dennis should take you out for a movie and dinner. I've got a perfectly good big screen right here. I forgave him for being an asshole last Saturday morning blast off. Yes. I apologized to her. Yes, I did. So I did. T is for Pepper. She's just staring at the door, which is bad. She's been out there. She just hears neighbors is what's going on, and she wants to go out and say hi to the neighbors and get belly rubs from someone who's not me. That's the whole thing. Because that is the kind of shameless dog that she is. She doesn't need to poop. She already pooped this afternoon when I took her out earlier. Never apologize for being an asshole. Just laser eye the controls. I'll leave the side door. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it, Apple Crows. You never apologize for being the asshole. You just laser beam the entire controls. And you go, you know what? You're the people that are actually good. You're the ones that need to be celebrated. Give yourself a hand as you fly out the door. That's what you need to do. She's come over before, Joe, and watched the big screen TV. Yes. We watch movies. I have surround sound. I basically have a movie theater here at home. Actually, it is a movie theater. That's what I set up. Yeah, I know, Sasha. Joe's been shipping us pretty hard on that one. And he's never even met you. And I can do that all. Yeah, I can dim the lights and Barry White comes on. It's, all just with a clap. That's all it is. I thought I missed this yesterday. No, Joe Greer, you did not. I had to postpone it, unfortunately. Yeah, really classy. I swear I'll pop claw the next person who says ship. So who are you shipping, Apple Crow? If you had a clapper, I might actually marry you. I'm obsessed with the clapper. Wow. The power of Humperdoo compels you. Humperdoo. I'm sorry, I can't say that name now without doing the way he does it. Humperdoo. It really is just wrong and funny at the same fucking time. Oh, maybe she does have to poop. Wow. Thanks, Pepper. She farted pretty really bad. That's all I'm going to say. And she farted right in front of the fan, so it blew right towards me when it happened. Wow. That's all I can say. With that said, now I think it's time to actually end things. There's a good reason people don't have superpowers. Most of us would be Homelanders more Homelanders than Starlights, exactly. Yeah, she does that all the time, Viking Mitch. She also does my favorite is she eats and then she comes and jumps in my lap and looks at me and then goes burp right in my face. Because that's what she likes to do. Yeah. And then she leaves immediately after she burps. She's like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah. He says the same thing when I'm over there. Uh-huh. Sad news, Joe Greer, about what? Pepper's farts or her burping in my face? I don't understand, Joe. Did I miss something? All right. I'm going to let you guys go. Again, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Also, hit the bell as well. If you're on the fence, take a look at the video that's up in here. And if you want to see when I'm going to be live again next, take a look at suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at my Facebook page. I also have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. Thank you, everybody who joined me in the chat. And if you followed along this long in the video, good for you. You're a glutton for punishment. No, I'm kidding. Thank you for coming along and taking a look at that. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning on Saturday Morning Blast Off. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get left behind on a plane that Homelander has conveniently destroyed the controls to because he's kind of a lazy asshole. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.